Welcome to TV Africa. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Lima, but first are the headlines. Eswatini Prime Minister dies after testing positive for coronavirus. At least 27 people killed in Boko Haram attack in Niger. Indian Association leaders hailed Museveni for conducive business environment. US formally removes Sudan from its blacklist of state sponsors of terrorism. Now the news in detail. About 38 years ago, a number of professional military men joined Yoweri Museveni in his bush war in Luwero to depose the second Milton Obote government. They remained comrades in arms over the years after a successful war, but come January, two of these comrades, now retired high-ranking military officers, will be among the 10 candidates facing Museveni on the ballot, seeking to end his 35-year grip on power. Having former military men run for the presidency is not new in Uganda, where the army has actively influenced the politics. The once army persons who want to unseat Museveni include former army commander Major General Mugisha Muntu and retired General Henry Tumukunde. Moving on, Washington once labeled Khartoum a hub of the axis of evil, but relations between the US and Sudan have warmed since hardline President Omar al-Bashir was toppled last year. On Monday, the US formally removed Sudan from its blacklist of state sponsors of terrorism as a part of a quid pro quo for Sudan normalizing relations with Israel. The White House said Sudanese civilian-backed transitional government has also deposited US $335 million in compensation over al-Qaeda attacks that took place while Bashir gave its militants safe haven. This is a recap of Sudan's fractious relationship with the US over the past 3 decades. Moving on still, the Prime Minister of Eswatini, Africa's last absolute monarchy, died in a South African hospital on Sunday after contracting coronavirus, the government has said in a statement. Ambrose Dlamini, 52, had been hospitalized in neighboring South Africa in early December, 2 weeks after testing positive for COVID-19. According to the Deputy Prime Minister Themba Masuku, the Prime Minister passed on yesterday afternoon while under medical care in a hospital in South Africa. Dlamini had announced in mid-November that he had tested positive for coronavirus, but said that he felt well and was asymptomatic. Moving on to Niger, at least 27 people have been killed in an attack in southeast Niger, local officials said on Sunday. Other people were wounded and some more reported missing in the assault on Saturday evening in the village of Tama in the Difa region, said a senior local official. Witnesses and other officials confirmed the attack, which came hours before municipal and regional elections went ahead across the country on Sunday. They further say that some victims were killed or wounded by bullets, others were burnt inside their houses, consumed by the flames of an enormous fire set by the attackers. Between 800 and 1,000 houses, the central market and numerous vehicles were also destroyed in the fire. In our business news today, leaders of the Indian Association in Uganda have hailed President Museveni for what they described as favorable business environment created by his government in the country. The chairman, Indian Association Uganda, Mr. Mohan Rao, lauded the president for the 3 Ps, that is peace, prosperity and profitability, and urged that the peace that was ushered in by the NRM government under leadership of President Museveni has created a conducive environment for investors to run and grow profitable businesses in Uganda. These businesses, through tax revenues, employment opportunities to Ugandans, and production of quality products in goods and services, translate into prosperity for all of us as a nation. He made the remarks on Saturday while meeting Mr. Museveni, who is also the NRM presidential candidate at State House in Entebbe.
They're employing a lot of people, and they are making a product that we need. I think to some extent they also export and bring in some money and so on. And they've taught people skills. I think the local ones or the smaller sugar industries you see now are copying from them.
Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, the right to know. In our health news today, as many countries around the world are making important decisions about who gets vaccinated against COVID-19, Africa is increasingly on a razor edge as access to the vaccine is not guaranteed. The challenge facing Africa is access, availability of the required vaccine doses, and access to financing to make purchases. Specifically, Africa is scaling walls in the ongoing global race to access the vaccine, as rich countries representing just 13% of the world's population have already cornered more than half, that is 51% of the promised doses of leading COVID-19 vaccine candidates, according to the Oxfam International. In our sports news today, a group of sports federations have formed an auxiliary association that they say will enhance lobbying in the sector. The Association of Sports Federation and Associations of Uganda was formed in Kampala last week, with boxing president Moses Mohanji as interim head, assisted by Robert Jagwe of Table Tennis Federation as General Secretary. Addressing a news conference at the weekend, Mohanji revealed that 42 of 51 organizations recognized by National Council of Sports had expressed interest in the formation, but 38 attended the December 10th meeting that appointed him chairman, with 9 others as committee members for an undisclosed interim period, where they are expected to sort the legality of the association. Now, before we end our news bulletin today, let's take a recap of our top stories. Eswatini Prime Minister dies after testing positive for coronavirus. At least 27 people killed in Boko Haram attack in Niger. Indian Association leaders hail Museveni for conducive business environment. US formally removes Sudan from its blacklist of state sponsors of terrorism. That was the news. Thank you for watching TV Africa. Stay tuned. More programming coming your way.
This is Africa, and that was the news.